Hey friends, consumer attorney Rob Nahum here. Welcome to my garage. It's a pretty crappy day out today, so I'm kind of hunkered down here in the garage getting work done. I wanted to share some thoughts I had about the PPP. So the PPP is this loan program from the federal government. PPP stands for Payroll Protection Program, right? The idea is to put money in the hands of small businesses so that those small businesses can continue to pay their employees and keep them paid during the Corona economy, and try and keep down those jobless numbers. The PPP has gotten a lot of attention lately for a variety of reasons, one of which is that it wasn't enough money and it simply just ran out of money before many of the borrowers were able to get any money, me included. I applied for PPP. My application's still pending. I haven't gotten my PPP money. But what it's really getting a lot of attention for is some of the sort of corruption around who is getting money, right? So the headlines are, well, the Los Angeles Lakers got their money, and Shake Shack got their money, and Potbelly got their money, and all these big, well-heeled companies were getting their money, and the real small mom and pop businesses like mine didn't get their money. And there's been a lot of blame going around on why that happened. One of which was that the legislation was just poorly drafted, which it certainly was that. But also there was a lot of blame and shaming pointed towards the companies for taking the money because they got plenty in reserve, and they don't need government money to stay afloat in the same way that small businesses like mine do. So a lot of these companies like Shake Shack have been shamed into giving their money back for good reason. But what I wanted to talk about, and the distinction I wanted to make, is the player in all this, who I think is getting away without blame, that really rests squarely on their shoulders, and that's the banks. Anybody who knows me know I'm not a real fan of the banks, and I'm pretty quick to blame them for bad behavior. But this one I think is pretty egregious. So what's happened was there was a race to get your PPP applications in, and the banks, who are sort of the point person for the PPP loans, right? So they're fronting the PPP money, and then they're getting paid back from the SBA, right? So it's not their money in the long run, but it's their money in the beginning. They're originating these loans and grants, but the banks were giving out the money to their favorite customers, right? They weren't giving out the money to the bank customers most in need, for sure. They weren't giving the money out to the companies that were going to do the most good with that money. They were giving that money out to the customers that they felt that they needed to maintain their banking relationships with, right? So they gave it out to their best customers. Crap. It's total crap. I mean, be a good corporate citizen. Be a good member of your community. Don't give $20 million to Shake Shack. Give it to the small Main Street mom and pop companies who need it. Shame on the banks. Shame on the banks. Blame them. Take care of each other. Love and light.